fellow creators, and welcome to my YouTube channel, and welcome to day 6 of my May 2026 All Clubs Crate series. So today we're going to be playing with the clear stamp and die of the month, and this one is, what is the name of it? Burst of Summer. And so you have all these fun summer sentiments as well as the coordinating dies. Now I'm also going to bring in the bonus item. This is a 3D embossing folder that you get when you order the All Clubs crate. And this is a Night Sky Celebration folder, and it is a 3D embossing folder, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it is the size of an A2 panel. So let me get this out so we can get started on making our cards. Now, let me show you a couple that I made off camera. And I used the embossing folder, of course, the sentiments from the clear stamp and die of the month. And I used some, what are they called? Color Essentials gems for the center of some of the bursts. I also used some of my oxide inks. So I used Blueprint Sketch and Festive Berries for my blue and red, since I'm going with red, white, and blue. And of course the white is the white cardstock. So I thought, let's make a couple on camera, but I'm going to do it a little bit different. So let me bring in my Platinum 6. And then for a 3D embossing folder, you need your platform base and the adapter plate, which is D, adapter plate D, and platform base A. So I've got those ready to go. Now what I've gone ahead and done is I have stamped and die cut my sentiments that I'm going to be using. So I will set those off to the side for the moment. And instead of the rectangle in the center like I did on the 2 cards I just showed you, I'm going to use these circles. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently than I did the first 2 cards, and hopefully it will work. Because on the first 2 cards, what I did was I embossed each panel separately. So I embossed the white cardstock and then the black cardstock, and then trimmed them down and inlaid it so that the pattern was continuous. But after that, I thought, why am I doing that? Why don't I just emboss them at the same time? So I'm going to try doing that. Hopefully it works. So I'm going to mist this with a little bit of water and then put that in my embossing folder. And we will emboss these together. Hopefully it works the way my brain wants it to work. It seemed to have worked just fine. Now, I did attach this circle with just some temporary adhesive or repositionable adhesive because I want to pop this up once I'm done adding some color to the panels. So let me do that one more time with our next panel. So we will have a white on black and black on white, and we will color them or kind of go over both panels with our distress inks or our distress oxide inks. All right, I have both my panels embossed, and so I'm going to bring in my oxide inks. And friends, I really only have blending brushes, so I can't really go over these with a blending brush without getting the flat portion and the embossed portion of the card panels. So I searched for one of my old ink blending tools, and I found the tool but not any of the little foam pads. So I'm going to do it this way instead. So all I'm going to do is very lightly just go over the panels together so that my colors line up. And then I'll do that with both colors, kind of trying to be real careful so that I don't press too hard and get it on anything but the raised portion of the embossed panels. So I've got some of the, what is it called, blueprint sketch there. I'm going to go in with some festive berries. So we have our red, white, and blue. And see, I pressed a little too hard there, or maybe because this panel wasn't as deeply embossed as the black one, since it's a second layer. But I'm going to be okay with it. I'm just going to go with it. Add a little more blue here in the center. Kind of just mixing it up. And I think that looks okay. I'm not too worried about having gone over that on the lower portion. So I'm going to do the same on this one. And I think that's enough ink on there. So let me move these out of the way and clean up my mess. So let me bring in my cards again. Now, I have these foam dots I've had in my stash for a while. So I think, let's see if this will come off first of all, because embossing it may have pressed that adhesive in. There we go. But I'm going to use these foam dots. So I'm trying to use up older foam tapes I have. And these are some of the older ones I have. So what I'm actually going to do is to use up this negative portion because it's sticky as well. So it will work. If I just peel this off and add it. Now this is super dimensional foam tape. I don't even know how thick it is, but that's okay for use on these circles. I think I'll be okay with that. All right, now let's add these back on to where I had them. I have to match up my patterns and my ink blending here. Now you're going to see this is quite dimensional. It has popped up quite a bit. Check that out, quite a bit. Oh, and I went off center. Let's see, am I able to fix it? Yeah, let me add some liquid glue to this. Let's see if that'll give me some wiggle room when I'm placing it and get that on there. Now friends, I do want to thank you for understanding with yesterday's video that it was really just a project share, because as I mentioned, such a busy weekend. So we had so much fun with celebrating my daughter's 40th birthday. She is my oldest, and we just had a blast. Where am I here? I feel like I'm not putting this on correctly. And yeah, it really shouldn't matter that much. It's just my perfectionist way to try and get everything just right. And my hands are going to get nice and dirty with this oxide ink. So let me press from the back. Okay, that will work. And we'll get this one going. But yeah, my daughter was so happy. She had so much fun. I was telling my husband, how can it be that we have a 40-year-old child? I don't feel old enough to have a 40-year-old child, but I am. Now we did start very young, very young, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. Here we go. Now I am going to trim down my panel because right now I have it at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I really want it a little bit smaller so that I can have a bit of a matte layer when I add it to my card base. So I will trim off of each edge. Okay, I have card panels here. So this is what I meant about having like a border, so you have kind of that matte layer look. So let me get this attached. And I am using a combination here of adhesives so that I can get a good adhesion to the card base, since this panel has been embossed with a 3D embossing folder. All right, now that I have these attached to my card panels, I can go ahead and add my sentiments. So for this one, I'm going to put Happy 4th of July, sending a burst of happy. And I did cut out a black cardstock to put behind there, kind of like a shadow layer. And then this one is going to say party like it's 1776. This calls for a celebration. So let me get these attached. Now I did pop up the sentiments on some foam squares from Spellbinders for a lower dimension, so it's not as high as those other foam dots I used. Oops, let me straighten out my sentiments. And I'm trying to be careful because I already smashed or smeared, one sentiment that I had stamped, because the oxides take a while to dry. And as you may know, I have no patience for waiting for things to dry. So I try and be careful and not touch them, but it doesn't always work out. And the reason for party like it's 1776, in case you're not aware, the USA is celebrating our 250th birthday. So 250 years ago, on July 4th, the Declaration of Independence was signed. All right, almost done, friends, almost done. I'm going to bring in those Spectrum AB Color Essentials gems and add some of those. And then we'll be done with our cards for today. I hope today was a little better, a little more helpful as far as showing you the process of how I made my cards versus yesterday's quick project share. All right, there's a few there. And let me add a few to this one. Now, friends, don't forget to stick around for days 7 and 8. On day 8, I will reveal what prizes I will be giving away for this month's series. And I will have 2 prizes once again. So I'm excited for that. And I hope you are too. Alrighty, friends, what do you think? So colorful. And then here are the 2 I made off camera with a more rectangle look. So let me know, do you prefer the ones I did off camera with a rectangle center or the ones with a circle? Do you like the white on black or the black on white? Let me know what your favorite part of each of these cards is. Do you like the addition of those gems? Do you like the foam tape added behind this circle? Because on the rectangles, I just laid them flat. All right, friends, as usual, I will be sure to list the products I've used in the description box below. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end. I'd be thrilled if you subscribe to my YouTube channel or followed me on any of my other social media platforms. As always, have a beautiful, safe, and creative day. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Reflecting in your deep blue eyes, the day has begun. You spin around, you laugh to yourself, and I see you shine in every color, resting your head in my arms. You sing la la.